Splitgate 2. It might be one of the best arena multiplayer FPS shooters of the modern day, and I do not say that lightly. Featuring ex-Halo developers, Splitgate 2 takes the mechanics of Halo, Portal, and even movement shooters like Titanfall 2 and Tribes. Wow is all I can say, and I'm going to explain why. I posted a few of my highlights of the new Splitgate 2 alpha build of the game, and they exploded in views. Like, we're talking millions upon millions. There's a lot of interest in this game. I actually did a Splitgate 2 video when the first private alpha was live about 8 months ago. I had some criticisms then and some concerns. Some have been addressed, others have not. I still think the major problem this game is going to have is longevity, but my god is it fun. Now first up, this video is not sponsored by Splitgate. I'm just doing it because I had that much fun. With that out of the way, this game is special. Let me explain why. First of all, the movement. This is something I think players are really going to love, especially once they master it, but even more so because so many people are missing fast movement like games similar to Titanfall. I was actually super disappointed that the alpha only ran for say 4 or 5 days, because just as it ended, right by the end of it, and you can see based on the gameplay on screen now, I was really starting to master the new movement in Splitgate 2. It is the closest I've seen to Titanfall / Tribes-like gameplay in the last 5 years. I discovered that by chaining a slide into a jump, you hover for a second and then hit a second slide, you could actually gain momentum and cover large parts of the map very quickly. It was just super fun, and there was actually big team battle, multi-team, and arena 4v4, so I'm showcasing on screen now just how far you can go in these large-scale warfare maps. Maybe 5% of the people in the lobbies I played had discovered the potential of doing this, and many thought I was cheating with how far I was zooming across the map. Genuinely, this might be the most fun I've had on a video game in quite some time. The best part is that every time you land in a slide, it will actually reset your jump and your hover, meaning you can keep on doing it indefinitely. Sliding down a hill obviously builds momentum very quickly, but once you master it, and here's another example, you can continue non-stop. So fun. In an era where people yearn for Titanfall-like movement, this is a game to keep an eye on. Now, Splitgate was always marketed as a Halo / Portal-esque shooter. I'd say Splitgate 2 has a similar time to kill like Halo. The gunplay is easy for Halo players to pick up, and the portals are, well, portals. With the sequel, as I said, I'd mix in Titanfall and maybe a bit of Tribes. The game is seemingly taking on its own identity, mainly with the addition of 3 main classes, all with their own different perks, which is kind of what you want to see, and frankly, it's needed if the series wants to have any longevity. Now, speaking of longevity, and I've said this before, it's the biggest problem the game faces. Splitgate 1 had a massive, and I mean massive, influx of popularity, where you had almost every single content creator playing the game, and it pulled massive views, but then it disappeared. Players left, nobody stuck around, everybody agreed the game was fun and enjoyable, but over time, the population significantly dwindled. It's no secret that the current gaming landscape is harsh, and it's even harder to break into long term when players are always looking for the next new thing to play. Thankfully though, Splitgate 1 had such a big boom in population, the developers secured funding to make a sequel to the original, and hence, Splitgate 2 was born. From what I've seen, the Splitgate 2 developers are trying to offer more in terms of game mode variety this time around. Big team modes, arena modes, and apparently everything they've showcased up until this point is barely scratching the surface on the content that will be available day one. I've spoken to a lot of the devs and they seem super passionate, so I wish them all the success in the world, but I still do worry that the game is going to drop off like Splitgate 1 did. I definitely saw that the 4v4 arena mode felt very sweaty at times. It isn't alpha, so it is to be expected, but for me, longevity is going to be found on Splitgate by building a core community of players that will stick by the franchise. That means fun custom games, social features, things that will incentivize players to keep coming back. The developers are also going to need a little bit of luck, word of mouth. If people enjoy it, it's going to spread, and that's when they can find success. In saying that, if they can repeat the same level of success the first game had, and then released a consistent flow of new content, something Splitgate 1 tried to do, but ultimately it wasn't enough, they really might pull it off. I've also got to add in that arena shooters are nowhere near as popular as they once were. It is definitely possible in this day and age to make an arena shooter that's popular, but to make a gamer put down the game they're currently enjoying, swap to a new franchise, and then stay on it consistently is hard. What I think is going to happen with Splitgate 2 is people are going to try it out, they're going to enjoy it, they'll enjoy it for a week, and they'll go back to the other franchise they're playing. And that brings me to my next point that's really going to affect the longevity of the game, and it just comes with the space of trying to establish a new IP. Because it's relatively new and unknown, it makes it harder to succeed long term. Marvel Rivals has the advantage of the familiarity of the MCU. There are so many new games I have seen in the past 2 years that have had so much success, but it is so short-lived. I will give Splitgate 2 its flowers, however, it is damn fun gameplay. In saying that, this brings me to gameplay, and first and foremost, the hit registration is chef's kiss. It's stellar. Really solid hit registration. If you shoot someone, even if it's across the map, it will always do damage. That is a very important thing, especially in this day and age where there's so many technical problems with video games today. Splitgate 2 nailed it out of the park. Frame rate was solid, I had no issues in this department at all. Apparently for Xbox and PlayStation users, 120 FPS will be available at launch. Not sure if it's confirmed, but I did see when someone asked online, the developers said lots of optimizations to do before launch, so fingers crossed. In any case, the hit registration was stellar, even with the fast velocity of the characters. The networking felt stable. The only feedback I could possibly give in this section is that melees feel a little janky. They hit, but they feel slow and awkward. Definitely something to look at. The gunplay itself is great. I tried a whole variety of weaponry, and to be truthfully honest with you, they all felt viable. Obviously, some guns were more effective than others, but the matchmaking felt fair enough that you could try everything and it wouldn't be too bad. That's right, the skill-based matchmaking was actually fair. You got a whole mix, a whole variety of different players. It was a really good time. The only feedback I have, and it's for the big team battle mode, is that there's 0 weapons on the map. The only weapons that drop are randomized in pods featuring 3 guns. I'd like power weapons to spawn throughout the map, as the maps are so big, and even in the arena 4 vs 4 mode, power weapons only spawn once per round, even if that round goes for 10 minutes. It's important to note that power weapons rotate after every round and are random too, so I think a good middle ground would be having them respawn. The biggest positive I could possibly give Splitgate 2 is the skill expression it gives to its players. It's just fun. If you want to pick up a brand new first-person shooter that lets you play the way you want to play, you can play with your friends, goof off, take it serious, whatever you want to do, then Splitgate 2 is the game for you. If you want to play it like a regular shooter, there's guns and a loadout that you can pick for that will fit your playstyle. If you want to fly around and slide everywhere, you can do that too. Hell, you can even portal back and forth everywhere, which I'll admit is very jarring to watch, but it does take a lot of skill. That's a very big positive in my eyes. I spent 3 days playing a different way each time, and every single time I did, I had a lot of fun. Splitgate 2 launches in 2025, no official date has been set. I'd assume it's going to have a beta and then a full release, so time will tell. For Halo fans, once the game comes out, I would really give it a shot. I would say there's going to be a beta, as we just played the second public alpha, and then they'll have their full release. With all of that said, you've seen the gameplay on screen, you've seen what the game is like. If you have played Splitgate 2, leave me a comment down below, let me know what you thought. I wasn't actually planning to do a video about this game, but I had so much fun, I had to do it. So thank you for watching, I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you guys later.